Alright, so I'm going to start on my next electrical project here at the house, one of my DIYs. I'm going to show you how I'm going to hook this generator up to the main breaker in the house for a power outage. So just in full disclosure, I am not an electrician, but I am a qualified electrical worker, so I do have the basic understanding of electricity and how it works. And with this situation, I am not going to install a transfer switch. Pluses and minuses to that. I'll explain that. And also, without that, it's a little bit cheaper with just the interlock switch, which will prevent backfeeding into the main line. So last year when the power went out, I just ran off 120 volt, was able to keep the fridges going, and also run a microwave, basically. I ran this into the house. Then from here I had a double male-ended plug. Plugged it into a 20 amp outlet, and then was able to backfeed into the circuit that way. This is going to be a lot better. I'm going to be able to run a lot more wattage. So I'm going to run off a 50 amp outlet and the 7200 watts that this generator will run to while running on propane. So with that, we're going to have this, and then I'm going to have my outlet box right here that I'll run from the generator into the house on this box, so that big black cord will run into here from this end, and then this end will plug into the generator on this side. So I'm not going to give the specifics of going through and wiring up a outlet. Should be very similar to what you already do with a standard electrical outlet. So I'll show you from here, and then what I'm going to do inside the main breaker box inside the house. Okay, so I got my outside outlet all hooked up here. Just a couple things. I'm using a 6-gauge wire. This was determined by the amount of amps that I'm using. There are charts at your local big box home improvement store that will show you what size gauge wire for the amps that you're running. So 6 was sufficient for this one. Bare ground copper wire, and then this grounding wire, green wire, over to the front casing. The black and red are my power. Each one of these carries 120 volts, and then this is my grounded or neutral wire over here. So you have grounding and grounded on the white wire. Just make sure they made this real easy on this one. You can see on the outside they have painted white, red, so you know exactly where to put each one of those wires. Okay, so we're inside the house right now under the porch. On the outside here is where the electrical outlet is that we'll connect the generator into, and because this is damp conditions, I wanted to run this in conduit, use this area for just storage around the house, and then that electrical wire will go inside the joist there, inside the house. And then that wire, I just ran it up underneath that piping through the floor joists, coming in and around, and then it'll come down to my main breaker box. Okay, so the next thing I got to do, I got my wire pulled into my main box. I'm going to feed it into the box. Side here, I got to first shut the main power, and then I need to put an extra 2-pole throw in here. So I'm going to move these all down. I have actually 2 slots that I had to fill in. But move everything down, put that new one in, so we can get this wire hooked into this part right here. I got this orange tape. I actually, just so I don't ever accidentally throw that, you can buy a switch that locks this out, but I throw that off, put the orange tape. I use that even if I'm working on a different circuit in the house. Fortunately, I already have a slot here to feed the wire in. Just move in, you pop that out, pushing it that way, moves down, 2 slots. And push that in right there. So now I got the 2 slots, and then I'll just continue it all the way up. So now, as I get to this part here, I have my white, my grounded line, not my grounding, which is the bare, the grounded line, or the white. I'm going to move those each down 2 slots as well. And you get them down, make sure those are screwed down good and tight. With these double pulls, I'm going to remove this side just to give me a little more leverage on that. And then hopefully I got enough, yeah, I got definitely enough length in those wires to pull these down. Oh. Got that in. Now I got a double pull against that. I'm just going to put single pulls back in. Try it. There we go. Get that double pull out. Try and get that down. Here we go. Finally, the last one here. I will tell you, you got to watch these 2 lines right up here. Those are still live coming into the house, so be careful you don't touch anything up there. Pull that line down. Clean some of that dust off from sitting on top. Pop that in there. Now I have a 1 double pull up here I'm going to put in. So I got a 50 amp double pull. I'm going to throw in right up here. The next thing I'm going to do is connect my wires up, and I forgot to move those down. I'll get to that here. All right, so we jump forward now and got the wire down, got everything moved down except for this last one. I just left that out to give me some easy access into the bus back here. That one is going to get the grounding, the bare copper wire, and the grounded, the white wire. Those will both go in the bus back here, and then we'll put in the 2-pole throw like we were talking about. When I'm cutting these, I have these gloves, they're cut level gloves A3, so that should prevent any slips when I'm cutting like this from getting my hand. And then both the red and black will go into the double pole throw. Make sure they're opened up all the way. Make sure that's a good and secure connection there. Okay, and then push that in. I've got them all moved down there. Clean out some of this dust in here. So now I want to install this interlock on the outside of the breaker box here. So with this interlock switch, when the circuit breaker is on for the generator, the main breaker has to be in the off position. So the way this is going to work, it's in the off right now. So when that's in the off, so that's going to lock it out, this bar, I can turn the power from the generator on, so it'll be flowing in. But the power can't flow down through the pole and thus backfeed on out to the outside pole. So, and then if I need to turn it on, need to switch the generator off once my power's back on, and then I can flip the main breaker on and go back to the regular main power. The only problem with this setup here is that I don't know when the main line comes on, but generally I can tell that just by my neighbors when their lights come on. So, so I'll get this installed. Alright, so I took the interlock apart, place that over top. Just gonna mark all 4 holes here. Then I'll take this off and put this on. So one thing I did want to show you when putting on that interlock there, it comes with this little bolt right here, and there's a set screw in the top of it. They do also give you the Allen wrench, but when you're putting them together, make sure you take out the little set screw that's in there. Then after they're together, put the set screw back in there, adjust the tightness on how tight you want the interlock. So it's kind of loud, but I have my generator running with a windstorm today. Connected it into the line into the house, and then we'll go down the basement. So there's my interlock installed. Have this, and then here's my generator. And then when I want to go on to generator power, first I want to shut all my breakers into the off position right here. Put these all off, so that way when I bring power in, I don't surge the whole system. Okay, so then I throw my main breaker. When that's on, this bar blocks it from turning on the generator. So I can shut the main power out, slide the interlock over, that blocks it from going on. Then I can go to generator power right here. Turn that on, and then power will be flowing in, And then any of the breaker circuits that I want on, I just flip them to on. And, you know, like this is my, my heat pump, which takes, this is my heat pump, this 100 amp. That's more than my 50 amp. I can't run my heat pump, but I can run everything else in the house. But I got to turn them on one at a time so that I don't surge the system. But I'll probably just run enough power to get the house lighted up and everything and back into running. So that's the Ram Industries interlock switch that I installed. And then once the power's back on, shut my generator off. Then I can slide this back over, turn my main power on.